On March 13, 1919, the people of New Orleans were horrified to read a letter received by the Times-Picayune newspaper, whose author claimed to be the Axeman of New Orleans, who had attacked and killed multiple people over the prior year. It read, "Esteemed mortal, they have never caught me, and they never will. They will never see me, for I am invisible, even as the ether that surrounds your earth. I am not a human being, but a spirit and a demon from the hottest hell. I am what you Orleanians and your foolish police call the Axeman. When I see fit, I shall come and claim other victims. I alone know whom they shall be. I shall leave no clue except my bloody axe, besmeared with blood and brains, of he whom I've sent below to keep me company. If you wish, you may tell the police to be careful not to rile me. Of course, I am a reasonable spirit. I take no offense at the way they have conducted their investigations in the past. In fact, they have been so utterly stupid as to not only amuse me, but His Satanic Majesty, Francis Joseph, etc. But tell them to beware. Let them not try to discover what I am, for it was better that they were never born than to incur the wrath of the Axeman. I don't think there is any need of such a warning, for I feel sure that the police will always dodge me, as they have in the past. They are wise and know how to keep away from all harm. Undoubtedly, you Orleanians think of me as a most horrible murderer, which I am, but I could be much worse if I wanted to. If I wished, I could pay a visit to your city every night. At will, I could slay thousands of your best citizens, for I am in close relationship with the Angel of Death. Now to be exact, at 12:15 earthly time, on next Tuesday night, March 19, 1919, I am going to pass over New Orleans. In my infinite mercy, I am going to make a little proposition to you people. Here it is. I am very fond of jazz music, and I swear by all the devils in the nether regions that every person shall be spared in whose home a jazz band is in full swing at the time I have just mentioned. If everyone has a jazz band going, well then, so much the better for you people. One thing is certain, and that is that some of you are people who do not jazz it on Tuesday night, if there be any, will get the axe. Well, as I am cold and crave the warmth of my native Tartarus, and it is about time I leave your earthly home, I will cease my discourse. Hoping that thou wilt publish this, that it may go well with thee, I have been, am, and will be the worst spirit that ever existed, either in fact or realm of fancy, the Axeman. While there were no axe murders on the Tuesday night specified in the letter, the killer did not wait long until he struck again. On August 10, 1919, grocery store owner Steve Boca woke up to an intruder standing over his bed holding an axe. He only saw a flash of his attacker before he was struck unconscious. He woke up covered in blood with a cracked skull. Boca staggered to his neighbor's home where he collapsed. Thankfully, he was able to get help in time, but he could not remember anything about his attacker. Nothing had been stolen, but the back door had a panel that was broken out. Perhaps because Boca had survived, the Axeman was back on the prowl once again only a few weeks later. On September 3, 1919, a 19-year-old named Sarah Lauman's neighbor came to check on her. They ended up breaking in when she did not answer and found her bashed and bloody. Lauman had been struck in her head and mouth. Several teeth had been smashed in the attack, but she was able to survive her injuries. Once more, the attack had left her unable to recall anything about her assailant. In this case, the attacker had climbed in an open window. A bloody axe was found on the lawn, but the fact that she survived makes me wonder if he had used the flat side of the axe to strike her. There would be one more murder before the killer faded away. On October 27th, Mike Pepitone was asleep when his wife heard loud noises coming from their bedroom. She ran to see what was happening and saw a large man with an axe fleeing from the blood-soaked room. Mike had been struck in the head repeatedly and did not survive the brutal attack. His wife was unable to recall any specifics about the killer, but it is a relief to know that the Axeman did not turn his weapon on any of their 6 children. While it is unlikely a killer such as this could simply stop, there were no further murders attributed to the Axeman in New Orleans. There were a handful of suspects, but most were cleared by the police. Some were accused by victims who later withdrew the accusation. Such was the case of the neighbors of the Cartamiglias. When she recovered, Rosie said that the man who had discovered her, Orlando Giordano, and his son Frank, were the attackers. Despite the fact that the father was nearly 70 years old and in poor health, and the son would be too large to fit through the broken door panel, they were found guilty. Frank was sentenced to death, and his father, Orlando, to life in prison. They were released a year later when Rosie admitted that the accusation was false and made out of jealousy and spite. One suspect who was not arrested or cleared by police at the time of the murders was a man named Joseph Mumphrey. He was supposedly shot in December 1920 in Los Angeles, California by Mike Pepitone's widow. While there is no official documentation of the shooting of a Joseph Mumphrey by Miss Pepitone in L.A., there were reports of a Joseph Mumphrey in New Orleans who was involved in organized crime. He was also listed as a prime suspect in the newspapers for the Chambord murders of 1912. Though this murder is not considered officially to be a part of the Axeman killings, especially since the weapon used was a gun. While we will likely never know the true identity of the Axeman of New Orleans, just like Jack the Ripper, there will always be new and compelling theories on who committed the vicious attacks.